Hey, can you hear me okay, Alex?
Yeah, now I
Okay.
can.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, my headphones are doing something stupid. Give me just 1 second.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So you can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, I guess well, first of all, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. I was
Oh,
gonna
good.
travel to see some friends for Thanksgiving, but one of their kids has hand, foot, and mouth disease, which sounds awful, actually. Apparently, all your toenails and fingernails can fall off.
Oh,
uh,
crap.
yeah, that sounds horrible. So, yeah, I guess I'm not going to go there at least, but oh well. Yeah, and if you want to share your screen, we can just start working the way we were working last time.
Uh, give me just 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this can go.
Oh yeah, and I think I told you I did finally successfully get it installed on my Linux machine, and it was actually super easy. So I don't know, I don't even know what I did the first time, but it wasn't too bad.
Cool.
Okay, sweet. I guess probably makes some sense to take a couple minutes and just remember what in the world we were doing here. So all right. It's always a good idea just to get reoriented. Let's check out these NED files again just to see the, high level design. Oh yeah, okay, that one's pretty useless. uh, that one's also useless. Oh great. Okay, here we go. This is the one. So cool. So the network.net, this is what's basically defining all of the interactions between all of these modules. Um, so we have our scheduler module. Um, we have our source module. We have these queues, the my queue module. And I guess we have like three versions of that for high, medium, and low priority. And then we have this sync thing, which basically just deletes or consumes messages.
Yeah.
I guess at some point in time, it will probably make sense for us to change the source module to be named user, because that's what they were calling it in the project description. But at any point in time, it doesn't really matter. That's something we could do at the very end. Cool. Yeah. So maybe you can say what you remember of like where we got to and what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this was it right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, we were basically just looking at the my queue and looking at the scheduler and trying to, well, at first just trying to figure out what in the heck these handle message methods were actually doing. So what do you remember of that, and then we can kind of go from there.
I don't remember that much.
Okay.
I mean, I have the videos.
Yeah, sure, sure. Um, so basically, um, what we're doing here is this scheduler sends itself messages, these command messages, and when it reads one of these command messages from its buffer, it's going to, well, do whatever it says in this handle message method, which basically
Mm-hmm.
says if it's a self message, if it's one of these command message thingies, uh, then it's going to send, uh, you know, to each one of these, I indices from 0 to gate size -1, basically, uh, which is just a little bit of a strange name because like somehow it's the number of users that we're sort of talking about here. But okay, it doesn't really matter. Or sorry, it's not the number of users; it's the number of priority groups that we have. Guys, shut up. Go away. All right. So either way, gate size and the number of priority groups, uh, those two concepts match up. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so either way, what we're going to do is when the scheduler receives one of these command messages, one of these messages that it sent to itself, uh, what it's going to do is for each one of the users, well, for each one of the priority groups, it's going to send one of these TX, or it's going to send, oh, sorry, I'm saying this wrong. So the self message is one thing. Uh, the self message the scheduler sends to itself, as you know the name suggests. When it sees one of these messages from itself, then it goes into this for loop. In this for loop, it sends to each one of those priority groups, the high, medium, and low priority groups. It sends one of these command messages. Okay. So either way,
Mm-hmm.
we see that on line 48. It says it's going to send the command message on the TX scheduling channel uh, on like gate I or however you want to say that. But basically, there's so TX scheduling, that channel, it's an output channel, first of all, but it's like an array of output channels. And we can see that by looking at the scheduler.ned source code. But we did look at that last time. So if that's sounding familiar, that's exactly what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So either way, that's where we are currently with the scheduler. It's right now just sending a message to all of those priority groups every time it reads one of its messages. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. So maybe we should check out what this my queue implementation is doing, because apparently we're getting these command messages on TX scheduling. Yeah, that's right. And so with this my queue thing, again, we have a handle message method, an initialize and a handle message, but it's always the handle message that's going to be interesting. Um, and so essentially all we're doing in this handle message method is when one of these my queue things gets a message, well, if the message came from the input channel RX packets, then we insert that message into our queue that we have access to. And so this RX packets channel is like, um, you know, I got this from a user or something, like this is something a user sent me. So I'm
Mhm.
storing it basically. Okay. If it wasn't coming in on this RX packets channel and it actually came in on this RX scheduling channel, well, one thing I can say is apparently, and I don't know why this is the abbreviation, but RX is like for receiving, and somehow TX is for sending, which I don't really know why that is, but that's what people use. So either way, this RX
Yeah.
scheduling channel is where we're receiving packets from the scheduler. And so basically what we're going to do is, well, we consume it and we're going to delete it. And when we get that scheduling message, we just basically unload all of the, user messages that we had queued up in the queue, right? So that's when we go into this while loop. Yeah. So what questions do you have about that?
Right now, none.
Okay. Okay, cool. So hopefully that situation is clear so far. So basically, the scheduler sends messages to itself every time it consumes a message. It's going to go ahead and send some message to these like priority queue things. When the priority queues get messages, well, there's like two possibilities of where those messages came from. If it came from a user, we just insert it into the queue. Okay, fine. And if we get it from the scheduler, then we basically just unload all of the messages that we have in our queue and we send them on this TX packets channel, which, if I remember correctly, TX packets is, well, of course, it's an output channel, but I think it is linked up with the sync module. Right. So basically, these MyQ things, the only place they send messages is directly to the sync. But okay, fine. We're only modeling the queue, so it doesn't matter where those messages go, really. Just that they go somewhere. Okay. And so now, what do we want to do? So that's currently what we have. But what do we need to have?
Right.
Yeah. So basically, one thing that they're suggesting we can do to modify this at first is, well, I guess one question that I'm not really sure of the answer to is like right now, the way that this FIFO project is set up, how many users do we have? I think I know the answer and I think I know where to find it, but it's a
I
good
feel
idea.
like I did too. I feel like I saw it somewhere.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I think it
Is it?
should be in network.net because network.net is defining basically everything about the topology of this network. So let's see. So we're
I thought it was 3.
yeah, it is. Well, so we have three groups of users, right? We have our low priority, medium priority, and high priority users. So they don't have the name user here. They have the name source, right? So anytime we're talking about users, really source is what we're talking about. But basically, what we're saying here is in line 39 is we have an array of these source thingies, and we have whatever NRHP and NRMP and NRLP, whatever those numbers are, the sum of them, that's how many users that we have. Okay, so what's number HP, number MP, and number LP? Where do we define that stuff?
Isn't it control or is it
Maybe you might be able to hold control and do it, but I don't know that it will actually link to it. So I think where we define this stuff, yeah. So here we go. We're even declaring them as parameters, right? But
Mm-hmm.
where do we give the values to parameters? So parameters are like, okay, you get to set this value when you run one of these models, but in general, they're just like arbitrary parameters. Right, so like
Mm-hmm.
they're sort of like a variable, but once you set the value, it doesn't change anymore, right?
Right.
But you have the ability to set that value initially to whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we define this in the omnetpp.ini file. That's where we give all of the values of all of these like model parameters. Yeah, so
Yeah.
here we go. We define it with the star dot nrhp thing. Okay, so apparently we have 2 high priority users, 3 medium priority users, and 2 low priority users, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So either way, we're already past the first part of what they said because they gave us code that was already past the first part, which is weird. But okay. Yeah, so they were saying like, oh, at first just do 2 identical users, but it looks like the state of the code that they gave you was there's already 7 users, and they're not
Yeah.
identical because they have different priority levels. But all right, whatever.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, either way, we have 7 users currently.
So do I have to change that 3?
I mean, we don't have to change it. We can just leave it as what it is. No, no. So the gate size is always going to be the number of priority groups, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
3 makes sense because we have the low, medium, and high in this case, right? But I know there's another case that they talk about with this like real time, and then there's like real time, high and low, real, non real time,
Yeah.
low, high and low. So then we would have 4, but we could just change this gate size thingy to 4 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So now, well, we're actually even a little bit uh, further because they just gave us code that is further than their first step that they suggest, which
Yeah.
is a little strange. But
I think I know what happened.
what is that?
So it's I don't think he changed the problem at all,
Yeah,
like the wording,
yeah,
and he might have in the past made the students do this by themselves
yeah.
and never changed the
Hmm.
like the question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, that's good news for us because actually means we don't need to do as much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then let's see maybe where we are in this README thing. So we're already past that. We're already past K users. Yeah. No, I mean we're already at the priority levels. So we're already at the 3 levels of priority, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, queues are not per user; they're per priority class. It's already set up that way. Uh, scheduler reads. Okay, so here we start to break down at like the third bullet point of scheduler. Uh, so we're saying the scheduler needs to read the length of the queues, and by the length of the queues, somehow determine like, okay, I'm gonna tell this one, to send some messages. So like right now, what's happening is, well, we might even be able to run this simulation. Let's see what happens if we try to run it. Might as well. Yeah, sure. Okay. What problems do we have? Have you gotten to see one of these models running yet?
Um, yeah, the first two.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
the first
Build.
ones. Yeah.
Build worked. I guess we're just taking a moment. Yeah. All right. Hey, this is sweet. So yeah, we gotta put in our parameters. Oh, this is interesting. It asks us to put it in, even though we put it in the omnet pb.ini. All right. Whatever. I mean, you can put whatever number you want. Maybe yeah, it's like 2 for each or something. Okay, cool. So we're just giving these values for the number of users. Okay, now what is wrong? Samples network 43 MIQ IIT. Okay, what is line 43 of network.net?
Let me just do. It might cut out for a second.
Okay.
Oh well.
Oh, it's saying there is no NRHP there. Maybe you meant
Okay, so
parent.nrhp.
line 43
Yeah,
network.net.
yeah. 43. And our inputs and our HPs. Okay. Do we have to say parent.nrhp? That's what they were asking. So it's possible we have to say, is it really that we have to write
Hang
parent?
on.
That's weird. Well, let's just literally try what they said. Let's just write parent.nrhp instead of the nrhp there. And my guess is, well, if that does anything, first of all, then we're probably going to have to do the same for these two. It's so weird, especially
You
since we.
want me to run it now?
I mean, you can, and then what? Hopefully, if that works, then what we'll see is, well, we should get the same issue on line 47 now. I mean, you can even like put 0 for all of them. It's fine. Yep. Okay. Cool. So that looks like it worked because now it's saying do parent.nrmp for the MP one. So yeah, let's just change the other two now.
Okay.
So it's a little bit weird, I guess, because that parameter is coming from the network module and not from the MyQ module. We have to say parents.nrmp or HP or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now we changed all three of those. That looks good. Let's see if it runs now.
Yeah.
Hey, sweet. Okay. Do we have any messages going? I think, oh, yeah, here we go. We got some messages showing up. Yeah, nice. Oh, hey, this is pretty sweet. Yeah, cool. All right. So maybe I mean, you can stop it or keep it running. Let's just figure out what's going on here though. Yeah, don't exit out yet. Can you actually like maximize it so we can see a little bit more?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I guess we don't really need to see that green part, but yeah, basically all these messages down here. This is like a big log of all of the events that are happening.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. So what in the hell is happening here? Yeah, so it looks like the sources, 0 through 6, like all of our users basically. Um, It looks like, well, they just send messages. Okay, fine. That's like the first like 8 events, basically. Well, the scheduler is the first one. Uh, and then what happens? And then our queues receive those messages. Okay. And then and then our scheduler basically goes through one of those scheduling cycles, and then now it has it sees the message that it sent to itself. Okay. And then it looks
Mm-hmm.
like it's what happens next. So my queue, okay, so the 3 queues, high, medium, and low priority, all get messages from the scheduler, as one would expect, because the scheduler just consumed one of its self messages. Okay, so event 19 was the scheduler consuming the self message. And when it consumes the self message, it's then going to go and send messages to the high, medium, and low priority queues. So that's like event 20, 21, and 22. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's see. I don't know who sent this message to the sync. It says ID 11. So apparently, a high priority queue sent a message to the sync. Yeah. So the event 23 is the that high priority queue sending out one message.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it should have 2 messages now. Oh, well, yeah, but one of them came from the scheduler, so I guess we don't relay those to the sync. Okay, cool. So what is this received job thingy about? I'm not actually sure, but it shows up after each one of these. After the sync gets each one of these, so I'm not terribly sure what is reporting this received job info thingy, but apparently somewhere in the sync module, we're reporting that. Oh, actually, this makes sense. I think this is part of the statistics. So let's go check out the sync module and see what kind of statistics we have. Yeah, it looks like we don't have it open.
The Ned.
You know what? Yeah, let's check out the Ned file first. Okay, Ned file's not super. Oh, okay. Well, it's saying something in comments about statistics and lifetime, which makes sense because what that was telling us was the lifetime of that message. I guess it's keeping track of like when the message was created and then when the sync receives it, right? And then it does like a diff of the times there. Um, Okay, that's pretty cool. But I don't
Do I
understand.
uncomment?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is I don't really know how it's logging that information when it's like commented there. So let's maybe check out the sync.cc implementation as well.
Sync.cc. Oh, here it is. Maybe.
Hmm. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So they're just doing like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so they're just doing some kind of like direct printing of that statistics information. Okay, fine. So all the sync module does is when it gets a message, well, it literally doesn't care where it came from. There's probably only one channel. Uh, but essentially, what we're doing is we're just deleting the message, and right before we delete the message, we're printing this information. That's pretty much it.
Mhm.
So maybe what is this EV thing? That's the only part that I'm not familiar with. Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, yeah, and if not, it's fine. I mean, oh, did it say something about it?
Uh,
If you hover over EV, does it give you any information about it? Okay, it is macro thingy. Okay, whatever. We'll just take it as you just write this. If you want to print info stuff, okay. So yeah, it's apparently some kind of macro. Are you familiar with macros?
somewhat.
Okay, I mean, basically, a macro is kind of like a function call. You just write some syntax, but that syntax is expanded to some other syntax by the compiler. I mean, that's really all that's happening. Um, so apparently, writing a capital EV like that, and then these like less than thingies gives us that like info level logging, and then we see that logging in the event logs, and that's probably EV is probably somehow event something. That's probably why they're calling it EV. So we log it to the event log. Um, oh, maybe one other thing that I'll ask just generally is so when I say info level logging, do you know what I'm talking about? Hey, you still with me?
Yeah,
So when I say info level logging, do you know what I'm talking about?
info level logging. This blue message stuff.
This is so I'm asking like a general programming question, not necessarily, but yes, that. But this is more of like a general question that I'm asking.
Uh,
Well, okay. Basically, all I'm getting at is so when we write software, and this can be done in any software, but especially must be done in sufficiently complex software. Uh, you always make components log information about what state they're in, or like why they're making the decisions that they're making. Because essentially what this does is, well, I mean, like, what is a computer program, right? Like, it's like a process. I mean, it's opaque. It's basically some black box thing, uh, unless you make it tell you about itself, which is the goal of logging, right? So logging is basically like, I don't know, what do I care about in the world of OMNet PP? Like, I care about messages and like when you got a message and when you sent a message. Like, I definitely care about that stuff. And so what we're doing here is we're just logging all of those like message receipt and sending events. I mean, that's basically what all of these like events, 1, 2, 3, 4, all of these events are. Uh, but that's like one level of logging, is you can log it at like that event level, quote unquote. That's not like necessarily a general thing, but either way, so there are different levels to logging, because it may not always be appropriate to log all information that you have, and so people will talk about like info level logging, or like debug level logging, or warning level logging, or error level logging. So there's like all of these different levels to logging, and basically the idea is like, you don't necessarily want to look at the log that has everything in it, because it's like too much. Uh, so maybe you only want to look at the log that has, like, I don't know, the debug and the info level stuff. Like, okay, we can do that because we have made like a hierarchy to the levels of logging. Okay, but either way, I mean, if this is not something that you've heard before, well, now you have. It's always something to look out for because in most software projects, there will be some logging component because it is extremely useful to get this information from a running program, right? Because otherwise, we don't really have many ways to extract information from a program that is currently running. Okay. So, but like for example, with the debug level logging, this is something that you would want to do while you're like running tests and stuff for your software, so you can see all of these like very detailed logging messages. But you don't want to run your production code with the debug logging, because now you're just going to have like these humongous logs building up, and you don't necessarily want this information, need or want that information. Okay. Either way, we have some macro apparently that allows us to do this this info logging, and so it's that EV macro that allows us to do it. And so basically all that means is we have some very nice shorthand way to make info, whatever you want to say, show up in this show up in these event logs. Okay. So what question do you have about this? You still with me, Alex? Hello? Alex? Alex, you still with me? Hey, buddy, did you fall asleep? Alex. Alex. How can I make your computer
Still
be
there?
really loud? Yeah, I'm still here. You awake?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Sorry. What's going on?
No, you're all good. We were just talking about logging, and so that's probably why you fell asleep, because it was boring as hell. Yeah. So whatever. We have this way to print this like info received jobs thingy to the screen. Cool.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's our macro for doing that, right? And so they're very explicitly getting, received something. It's like the message name, and then they say, comma, then the lifetime, and then they print out that lifetime thing. So it's actually telling us like quite a bit about this message. So it tells us the name of the message, and also how long that message has like been in existence, right? Because like it was created by somebody, and then now we're destroying it, and so we're just showing that lifetime before we destroy it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much it for what we currently have. And so yeah, we're not necessarily collecting statistics here in the sync module at the moment, but we we are, like printing some info level logging to the event log. Okay, cool. So one thing that we can do is we can put that statistics stuff on there in the NED file, and then see what that does, right? I think it was in the
sync,
sync,
right?
yeah, sync NED, yeah.
And the rest, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Sure, let's put that one on too. Why not? The display one we definitely don't need because that's only for the design. If you were to click to the design tab, that would change that, but we don't really care that much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so now we should be getting some statistics about well, whatever we asked it for. Oh yeah, but if we have 0 users, I guess we'll just get messages from the scheduler. But but the sync mod, we need at least 1 user because the sync module will never get any messages if we don't have users.
Okay, let's see. Oh wait, let me close this one out.
Yeah, and you could even just do like 1 high priority user and 0 of everybody else, but we just need at least 1. Okay, so yeah, we're getting some messages from the users. Okay, Q's got messages now. Scheduler. Q's sending messages probably. Yeah, cool. Okay, good. So I think we can probably stop it now that we should have collected some statistics. And so now the question is, where do we collect these statistics? I assume it'll be in some file in that same directory, but let's see. Yeah, you could probably even close that one since we're done with it. But, right. Is it in results or out? I do not know. Yeah, that looks. Wait, what is this? New analysis file. Probably not that one. What is this general 0.sca? So wait, when you clicked on that, it asked you if you wanted to make a new file?
That was weird.
I don't know. Just say finish. Sure. Yeah, why not? Let's just go for it. Ah, okay. Yeah, this looks like it's supposed to be some kind of statistics. What the hell? I don't really know how to interpret it, but this definitely looks like statistics. What is run attributes? Okay, that's the time. Yeah, that looks like the time we ran it. Okay, cool. Yeah, this must have been created when we did that. Process ID. Why do we care about process IDs? Where's the stuff we care about? Let's check out configuration and let's check out saved parameters. Let's just get a little more familiar with this statistics file because I don't even really know what's in here. Okay. So what happens when you click on one of those?
Click on which one?
Anything in saved parameters. I just want to see nothing. Huh.
Yeah, I guess you
Okay.
can't click on it.
Interesting. So what about the scalars directory? Let's check that one out. And if it's not obvious from looking at this, I'll look into it. Oh, okay. We have this stuff, but how do we get to see it? That's the only thing. That doesn't make sense. Folder, so it says add to dragon. Okay, add or dragon. Surface input to analysis. Wildcards are accepted. Oh, you know what? This is at the bottom of the window. We're in inputs. Maybe let's do browse data or charts. That's probably what we want.
Browse data.
Yeah, at the bottom of
Where?
that window. It's like
Oh,
just yeah. Well, that doesn't look really all that good. And nothing. Really? Wow. Killing me. Okay. What about this little menu, like right under all of the tabs on the top right? It looks like there's a little chart looking thingy. What's this? The second icon there. New chart. Yeah, let's try that. Why not? Maybe we have to make the friggin' chart from. I'm not even sure what's the appropriate chart here.
does it say we have to do one?
I don't know. I'm a little confused as to how we're supposed to. So, like, okay, what's going on? Like, we collected statistics information, but how do we even see the statistics information? That's currently the question. Right. And so in my mind, I'm wondering like, oh, these guys, they probably make you like pick all of these different charts and stuff before you can even see the data that you collected. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can just choose any of these and click OK and then see if it will create the chart from our data that we have.
Oh.
And like I said, I just don't know what's the right one anyways, so let's just go ahead and try something. You can edit chart definitions. Okay, so now what happens when you click on this line, this little image in here? Yeah. Does it do anything? Error while querying results, empty filter expression. Okay, I don't know what that means. I'll look into this and figure out how to actually do this statistics display. Okay, well, yeah, interesting. So we know how to catch statistics. We know how to gather statistics, but we don't know how to display them yet. Yeah, that seems par for the course. All right. Well, this isn't super helpful, so I guess we can just like get out of this stuff. And now probably the right thing to focus on is actually making the scheduler, do some like round robin stuff with the queues. Okay. Cool. So, well,
I think
maybe
I just
let's
close these out, right?
close. Yeah. What? Close what out?
The sinks and the.
Yeah, we probably don't need the sync right now. Like we'll worry about proper collection, statistics collection later on. Yeah, so right now I think we probably need the queue implementation, so myqueue.cc, and probably also scheduler.cc. Maybe let's just split the screen and get both of those up. Yeah, I think if you just grab that tab and start to like drag it over to the right side of the screen, yeah, and if you pull it, yeah, exactly. You gotta like, yep, cool. All right, I'm thinking let's have one open on the left side and one open on the right side.
So we don't need the NIDs.
Yeah, probably not right now. We can get them back in a second if we do. Yeah, all right, sweet. So Now, basically, we just have to figure out. So for the scheduler to be able, to know the size of the queues, well, really, whether or not they're empty, like it needs to somehow be connected to these queues. Because right now, it's like the queues are all completely independent from the scheduler. They don't ever interact with the scheduler in that direction, so the queues never send messages to the schedulers. The scheduler just sends a message to the queue and basically says like, hey, dump all of your messages onto the sink, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's currently what's happening. And so right now I just want to talk about, at a high level, like what we need to do in order for the scheduler to know about the sizes of the queues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, first of all, before I say stuff?
Thoughts on how to start, or
Yeah, well, very specifically, thoughts on how to give the scheduler information about the 3 queues that we have.
I don't know.
Okay. So right now, they're all just completely separate modules, and we only have a link going from scheduler to each one of the queues, right?
Right.
So right now, the way things are, it's not even possible for the scheduler to ever know anything about the queues, right? Because there's not even a network connection that could get us information from the queues to the scheduler, right?
Right.
So there are probably many ways that we can handle this, but at the end of the day, the only way that any of these components are going to communicate information amongst themselves or between each other is by message passing. Um, so
Okay.
so what we can do is, as a first attempt at least, we can make the queues send messages to the scheduler, and basically, just tell the scheduler when they have messages, for example.
Okay. So
Okay.
here.
Um, yeah. So we're gonna need the myq .ned, because we're probably gonna have to add an output gate so that we can send messages to the scheduler. Right. So we'll have to add that there.
I think that was the second thing that you said, right?
I'm not sure what you mean by the second thing I said, but
You said make the queues send messages to the scheduler,
yes.
and I don't remember the second part.
So we'll have to add an output gate on the myQ thingy so that it can do this, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, but we can't only add an output gate to myQ. I mean, we'll also have to have an input gate on the scheduler for each of these things. Quiet, Eddie. Eddie, quiet. I don't know why she does this. Just stares out the window and growls at everything. It's so stupid. Just why you do this. Yeah, okay, cool. And we already have the scheduler.net open, so we might as well make our input channels there. Or yeah, we'll do under gates, we'll add an input thingy. And we could basically do it the same exact way, and we could just call it RX scheduling or something. I don't know. Whatever name makes the most sense for you. Yeah, exactly. We definitely need to have gate size many of them because that's how many priority groups we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, cool. So now RX scheduling is like an array of you know um, an array of like input channels basically. Cool. Yep, one for each priority group. Right, might be a good idea to say that too. All right, cool. And then one other thing that we'll have to do is go into the myq.net file and add that output gate. And then we'll need to go to the network one and actually link them up.
So Mike, goes here.
Yeah.
And you said,
Yeah, so let's see. So we need an output that goes to the scheduler. So I guess we could call it output TX scheduling, something like that. I don't know if it's bad practice to have a channel in the MyQ module with the name TX scheduling and also a channel in the scheduler with the name TX scheduling, but I think it's probably fine.
and I just realized something. Here's where we actually stopped last time.
Ah, yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. So I
It
wonder
was
what.
just making a comment.
Yeah, I wonder what this comment was about. So what's this parameter and number of inputs for MyQ? Well, I don't know if it, let's not think about it right now since we're on like a little train of thought here. We'll come back to that one in a second.
Sure.
Yeah, so this is where we are going to send a message to the scheduler. Right, or this is the channel on which we send messages to the scheduler. Like, however you want to say that, that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, to the scheduler specifically. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, sweet. Yeah, nice. Okay, now we're adding some gates to different modules. Like, all right, nice. Feels like we're making progress. So maybe let's just close like these windows on the left side here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I just do?
I think you just you did that. All right, sweet. That's exactly what we wanted. Yeah, you can close that one too. Even we don't need it right now. Yes. All right. Perfect.
Okay.
So now, before we forget, let's check out network.net, and we need to link up each one of these priority queue output channels, whatever we call them, TX scheduling, to the input channel on the scheduler called RX scheduling. You got to be kidding me. Is it already there? It's like literally already there. Yeah,
This one?
but yeah, this is a little bit trash because I has no meaning in this scope that we're currently in.
And it's also saying user.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we can, and again, like if we want to change the source thing to user, we can, but I don't think it really matters, honestly. Yeah, so we would say sources, which I think is not the right name to give it, but it's okay. That's the name of it.
Let me just do this.
I don't change
Yeah,
the
just
actual
keep
code.
that. Yeah, exactly. Let's just write stuff. And can you scroll up just a tiny bit so we can see the name of all of these things? Yeah, so
Oh
okay,
yeah.
it is sources with an S, like plural. And yeah, and scheduler is the scheduler, of course. Okay, cool.
Sources. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, great. So what we need to do, well, I mean, basically, it might make sense to just add it into each one of these for loops because we do need to do it for each of these for loops. Is that right? Yeah, because each of the sources TX scheduling needs to be connected to the scheduler RX scheduling or whatever we called it. Yeah, so let's do sources I dot TX scheduling. Yeah, and then the double arrow thingy. Yep, and then we need to do scheduler dot. I forget what we called it, but I think it was RX scheduling. Yeah, cool. And then a semicolon to finish that off. And okay, let's see what problem this says it has. Wrong source gate sources has no gate name TX schedule. Well, you better recognize that it does. So, wait, sorry, not sources. It's the MyQ. Whoops, wrong one. Okay, so it's not. Yeah, okay, and so either way,
Where to go?
my bad. We don't want to do this inside the for loop because we're not talking about the sources. Yeah. Yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah, we can just put it down here at the bottom. Oh, and it'll be very similar to like these last ones, but yeah, so we just need like high priority queue, its TX scheduling channel connected to something. So yeah, we don't call it myQI. It'll just be HPQ. That'll be the high priority queue, and no I anymore. Yep. So that looks right. Missing RX. Wait a second. Can we go look at the scheduler RX scheduling? What did we call it? Yeah, we called. Oh, okay. And it also has, yeah. All right. So what we need to do is put the high priority one on the right index. And so high priority has been going to index 0 in other places. So let's just put it on index 0. So we need to do scheduler.rx scheduling 0. Yeah, so RX scheduling is the array. So now we're good. Cool. And now we'll basically just copy and paste this one. But when we do the medium, we'll send it to the 1 index. When we do the low, we'll send it to the 2 index. And so it'll just always be like that: high, medium, low, in increasing order of indices. All right, and give me.
That's annoying.
Oh, yeah, that it does the weird tab thingies. Oh,
Okay, so at one point there were what's it called? Capitalized. Yikes.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, well, that looks good. So we don't have any logic for what to do with these connections yet, but we've at least set up the network topology in such a way that we have these connections, right? So that's the first step.
Oh, but it was just numbers. Okay.
All right, and I didn't realize this until right now, but we are a little bit past the hour. So your
Mhm.
choice. Do you want to continue working a little bit longer, or do you want to call it here and schedule like a future session?
How much longer do we have? As of,
I mean, I can meet for like another 24 minutes, and that would be okay.
let's meet for another 10 minutes and see
Okay.
what we can get finished, and
Yeah,
then we can
for
call it.
sure, for sure. So give
You
me
have
just
another student at 10:30, don't you?
not at 10:30, but at 11. I just want like a tiny
Okay.
break in between.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so give me just 1 second. I'll be back in 1 second.
Sure. Just okay.
All right, sorry about that. Okay, cool. So we got our links now in the network topology. All right, and now we'll have to include our logic for sending these messages. Um, okay, great. So maybe let's just take care of it on the my queue side first. Um,
Okay.
and so basically, what we'll do. Let's see. Let's see. So what we'll do, I think, a good idea would be only when we get the first message. So if our queue is empty, so if we get a message from a user and our queue is empty, so basically we're talking about this like if block that starts on line 30. So when we do this message arrow arrived on RX packets, that means it came from a user, right? I think these names are
Mhm.
terrible. I would have called this channel from user. But either way, we can have our strange names and try to confuse people. Either way, all we're doing here, so we're doing something very naive, and we're just saying when we get the message from the user, just throw it right into the queue, and then just like keep going. We're going to do something a little bit different now. And what we're going to do is say, if we get this message from the user, we're going to do this inside that if block. Um, so inside the if block that starts on 30. Yeah. So before we insert the message into the queue, what we want to do is first check if the queue is empty. Because if the queue is empty, I'll do something else. I won't just add the message to the queue. I will also send a message to the schedulers, basically just saying like, hey, I got messages now, just so you know. Right. So what we're going to do is say like, if, and then I guess you have to put it in parentheses for the predicate that you write. But we'd say like, if q dot is empty. Yep. Yep. So that's only going to be true, obviously, when the queue is empty. So if the queue is empty, well, then we're basically going to create a message. Like we get to pick whatever message we want to call this. So whatever you want to call it, we're going to create a message. And then this message is for the scheduler. So I don't know, you could call it schedule or something like that. Notify, I don't really know. But we're going to do it in exactly the way that they do. Let's see. It's a little bit different than what they have here. But basically, we're going to say, okay, we're writing something that is a C message, right? So let's put the type first. We're like declaring a variable. So it's a C message. Yeah, and let's call it, I don't know, scheduler message or something like that. Yeah, and if we want to see exactly how to write this, let's go to scheduler.cc because we know that we generate some messages there. And so what are we doing? So 46, we have this command message thingy, right? So we'll basically just copy and paste that, but then change our CMD to whatever we want to call it, like scheduler message, for example. So we'll say, okay, this is a new C message and it has the payload like scheduler, notify, or whatever you want to say. And you can put whatever string you want there. It doesn't matter, but cool. All right, great. And so now what we need to do, so we created that message now. So we have that message. It's called scheduler message. And now we need to send scheduler message on whatever we called that channel that's intended to go to the scheduler. So I don't remember what that channel was. I think it was TX scheduling, but we can look in myq.net. Yeah, so we called it TX scheduling. All right, perfect. So let's send that on, and we say TX scheduling like it's a string. So we do send is the function. Yep, and then it's going to take two parameters. The first one is the message. So scheduler message. It's the message actually. So it's just the scheduler message name. Yep. Okay, and then now, like a string in quotes, the name of that channel. Yeah, and then yeah, probably that. Okay, cool. So now what we're saying is anytime the queue gets its first message from a user, it's then going to send a message out to the scheduler so the scheduler can know that it has a message. And then I'll wait for you, but I'll say some more about that too. Okay. So now if you think about it, the way that things are working, every time any of these high, medium, or low priority queues gets its first message, they're independently, they're all going to send messages to the scheduler. So it's possible it's possible that we get into a situation where the scheduler has like multiple messages from different queues, right? Maybe it has one from the high priority queue, maybe it has one from the low priority queue, for example. So we're going to have to put some logic in the scheduler that basically says, well, if I know about if I know about this, so if I see a message from one of the queues, basically, I don't want to immediately do anything with that information because it's possible that, I see the message from the low priority queue first. And if I were to just look at the next message and maybe that one's from the high priority queue, then I would, make a different decision as to what those queues should do, right? Because in that case, what should happen is the low priority queue should not send its messages, but the high priority queue should, right? So the scheduler has to be smart enough to read all of these messages from the queues and then make a decision like, okay, if I got the high priority message, cool, I'm going to go ahead and send that. And if I got, a high and a low, like only the low should go, that sort of thing. But even in that case, we have to be smart enough so that if we get a message from the high priority queue and the low priority queue, that'll be the example that I go with. So say in this scheduling window, I got a message from both of them. Okay. So what the scheduler should do in this scheduling window is tell the high priority queue to flush its queue, right? But the thing is, we don't want to forget that we already got a message from the low priority queue, right? So we want to tell the high priority queue to do its thing this time around, not tell the low priority queue to do anything, and also like persist that message from the low priority queue to the next scheduling round, if that makes any sense what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think there's one other thing that we should modify, and we can do this relatively quickly, I think. And
Sure.
that is, oh, never mind. We've already done it. Okay, never mind. So what I was thinking is, we should really make it so that the queue can only send messages when it's received one from the scheduler. But I mean, that is literally how it works already. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is looking pretty good, actually.
And we can do the logic next time, right?
Yeah, I think that's probably the right idea. So yeah, let's start there next time. So we'll do the scheduler like the scheduler queue message handling logic. That's what we'll do next time.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And so speaking of next time, so we'll call it done at this point. But speaking of next time, when were you looking to meet? So what I will say is, so I have some availability tomorrow, but then I'm off like Thursday through
Obviously.
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Saturday's already a little bit full, but so Sunday would be like the first availability that I really have. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. After that point, basically.
Sunday.
Yeah, you want to meet on Sunday? Do you want to do this same time at 9 a.m. your time?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That
So
sounds good.
I'll put you down for 9 a.m. your time on Sunday.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
You're very welcome.
Happy
And
Thanksgiving.
yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too. All right. I'll see you on Sunday.
You too.
All right. Take it easy,
Bye.
Alex.